It is 11:32. I will start actually talking about the subject here as long as I can tell that this is live to everybody.
It is live. You can see people joining.
Oh,
There's
three people here, I believe. Okay, so since I do believe this is working, good morning, everybody. Oh, hello, lovely. It's from my friend Pamela. Okay, it is working. So obviously, I'm sure you guys can all tell that this is my very first Facebook Live. So if I am looking in the wrong place or making a fool of myself, I do apologize. So maybe take this as your 11:30 a.m. on the Creative Hive entertainment of Teresa making a little bit of a fool of herself, but also I do promise that I will share a little bit of insight. Let's begin. I am Teresa Bolinski. Some of you may know me as a member of the Creative Hive. I have an office there. It is my second home, so I miss it dearly right now. I am a photographer full-time. I also help people in their branding, in their business, and kind of like to consider myself an all-around creative person, which is what we are going to talk about today. I don't know if I consider myself to be an expert in the topic of creativity, but what I do know is that my entire life I have tapped into the power of creativity and learned the power of it in my overall healing and wellness. I have had chronic illness since I was about 10 years old, and I have tried probably anything and everything that you might think is sort of classically creative. I love coloring, doodling, dancing, even though certain things I'm not very good at, like dancing. I might even try singing, but I do know that anytime that you do that, you just feel good, right? So common thoughts, obviously, when it comes to creative people is that creativeness belongs to a special set of people. But that is not necessarily true. It is scientifically shown that as human beings, we are actually all inherently creative. It is the trait that sets us apart from all other species. So we should celebrate that as human beings, our creativeness. Yes, it is true that there might be some people out there in the world that are more creative than other people. They can just sort of tap into that part of their brain better than other people. Some of the great artists, Leonardo da Vinci, the great inventors and builders of our time, they can access that part of their brain maybe a little bit better than other people. But it is true, though, that we all have the capability to tap into what is called everyday creativity. So think back to your day yesterday. Every choice that you made had a certain element of creativity in it. When you woke up and you chose what to wear, did you take a minute to really think about the combination of things that you were putting together, or did you just grab it quickly because it was a go-to that you know that works? You made the choice, right? But you could have taken, you could take a second to decide on jewelry pieces and accessories that maybe you haven't paired with other things. Or you could have just, like I said, thrown on a go-to. But if you would have chosen to take an extra 5 minutes to put together an outfit that maybe you never wore before, it kind of engages that that fun, creative part of your brain. So if you start doing that, start kind of going over your days like that and reflecting back on the choices that you made, then you start realizing that you were practicing using that creative portion of your brain. And there is power in that creativity, you guys. So we all have it. Recognize the choices that you made and recognize that you all have creativity. I have to laugh at this comment that just came in. Which PJs should I wear today? Maybe try something fun. Maybe try PJ swap. Swap pajamas with someone else in your house today. It doesn't matter what size they are. Just swap them out. Do something fun. Okay, back to the power of creativity. So there is actually some science behind this, that when we are engaging in creativity, our dopamine levels increase in our brains. So those of you who don't know what dopamine is, here's a little reminder. It is the happy hormone. Your dopamine levels kind of help that happy emotion. So anytime that you might be picking up a paintbrush, just playing in the kitchen with a new recipe, and you feel good about it, it's because the creative element is increasing your dopamine levels. Another really cool thing that I read about in some of my research before is that creativity and neurotic thoughts kind of go back and forth. So the more that you're engaging in creativity, the less neurotic thoughts that you have. So have you ever felt anxious and thoughts kind of go in places where you're worried all the time, or it's just negative feelings and you can't get past that? If you just take a second and try and breathe and even just immerse yourself in something creative, those feelings start disappearing and you start focusing on what you're doing at hand. So think of it that way. If you start feeling anxious, start cluing into, okay, maybe it's time to just sit down, be creative, even if it's just working on a puzzle, just doodling, writing out the words that you're feeling, just some other way of expressing that. So that kind of actually leads me to my next point about the power in creativity. And this is something that I'm going to test you guys on later to see how much you've noticed lately, but the connection that creativity creates is extremely powerful. And that can be connecting to your inner self, and it can be connecting to other people. So one of the ways of kind of thinking about creativity is that when we create, we're translating our ideas, our thoughts, our feelings into something visual for other people to see. So if we write a poem, we're writing about our feelings and ideas for somebody else to actually look at and understand where we're coming from on a totally different level. And if we don't want to share it with other people, I think a lot of people find that when they start expressing the way that they feel in an outward format, that they can start reflecting, understanding themselves a little bit better too. In quarantine lately, I think that we've done a beautiful job in our community to connect through creativity. I want you guys to put in the comments here and let me know some really cool ways that you might have seen creativity come out in the community and bring people together. Anytime I see something, I just start smiling. Like around the time of Easter, how many of you saw posts, and even driving in your car, if you saw anything in the window that looked like decorated eggs by kids or even other family members? I thought that was so impressive that, people thought, we can't have a typical Easter egg hunt, but we can still take the situation at hand and be creative and still enjoy it and share it with others. So the typical Easter egg hunt that we might gather a bunch of people for and go running through the grass, but instead we got to drive around in the safety of our own vehicles and check out what everyone created in their windows. So that was pretty cool. Some other things that I've seen is just drawing, sidewalk chalk, people writing fun little messages to each other. That's been pretty cool. So again, if you guys see anything else, oh, Shannon loves sidewalk messages, me too. Let me know if you've seen anything else. But it's pretty cool. That kind of goes back to the idea that we're very creative whenever our situation changes. So creativity is influenced by whatever's going on around us. So in the last 7 weeks or so, what we've seen in terms of change is that we're stuck at home a lot of the time. Our environment has changed greatly. So in response to that, a lot of people have had to tap into that creative part of their brain and come up with new ways to connect with each other or to kind of sort out the new feelings that have been going on inside of their hearts. So I think it's really cool what everyone's been doing. a couple people might think, well, everyone's just copying each other and we should come up with our own ideas. But you know what? I think that's awesome. If people start copying each other's ideas and doing the same thing, that's just showing that creativity is inspiring hope in other people, and it's working. So keep doing it. If you have like a cool idea, whether you think it will be spread and shared by other people, doesn't matter. Just put it out there because you don't know what will inspire and hit someone else in the feelers and keep things going. So keep up with it. I wanted to help you guys keep up with the tapping into that creative part of your brain. So maybe now let's talk about how to be a little bit more creative. We can all access it, but like any other muscle in our body, it's good to exercise it regularly, right? So how to be more creative? If we go back to the everyday choices that you make, you can start with that. It's little things. I have a list that I've started, and I can put it in the comments later for you guys, but it's even things, like I said, choosing a different outfit that you might not normally wear. Play with your kids, but maybe on a completely different level. Go back to your 5-year-old self and come up with a new voice, be a new character, just find the courage and let loose and have some fun and play like you were a kid again. Get out the finger paints. Who cares if you're 32, 49, doesn't matter. Just dip your fingers in and see how it feels and just do it. That's the big thing with creativity, is that we are so stuck in our routines and regular ways that it does take a certain element of courage and bravery to be creative, but we can all do it. So some other ideas, you guys, is with this weather, we can get outside and we can plant some pretty flowers and decorate our porches so they look nice and inviting, although we don't want to let too many people in. So that's another idea. Planting. Some other ideas that I have on my little list here, which is, you know what, I'm going to put it on my fridge. And I encourage you guys to all do this later once I post it. But download a photography app on your phone and experiment with some of the options. Kindness. Write a kind note to somebody else and just put it in their mailbox. A note of gratitude, of thanks for who they are. That's something that we've seen a lot of, is that kindness and creativity kind of go hand in hand. How you want to show someone that you love them. It takes a little bit of creativity to show them you love them. And it can be something really, really simple. So go outside, pick someone that you love, and maybe just write a note for them in chalk and leave them a special note in their mailbox that maybe you doodled on and drew some goofy pictures. It's going to spread all kinds of good feelings for you and for them. So I will post that list later on. And if you guys have any ideas that you want me to add to them, we can put them on my list, and I will share in the comments there too. I just kind of want to really encourage you guys to go out there and just try. And it does take a little bit of courage. You worry that you're going to be a fool and people are going to laugh at you, but that's what you want. You want to sort of encourage happiness, and it'll make everybody feel good. I know a quote that I really love. He said that he actually has no special talents. He's just passionately curious. So I love that. Part of being creative is being curious. Have wonder, play like a kid, go out there and discover. If you have no idea where to start, what you want to do, just go outside for a walk in nature and look around at everything that you see, and you realize that nature is kind of the world's greatest palette for creativity. Everything is different and created and beautiful. And if it's raining, you don't want to go outside. Immerse yourself in creativity again by just picking up for almost a month after major surgery. And it was a long road of recovery even after that. And I fought through pain every single day, and circumstances were that I had to work basically as soon as I was discharged from the hospital, and was still working on healing and recovering physically, but I had to go home and work, which meant for me, luckily, that it meant picking up my camera and working my photography business. And at first, I kind of maybe felt a little bit bitter that I couldn't just sit on the couch and rest and sleep all the time. But um, reflecting back, I realized that every opportunity I had to work and pick up my camera and engage with other people and see the world differently again through the lens of my camera, it gave me hope that I I would get to a point again where I would feel better. And it kind of again the goodness in other people's lives and realize that there's still goodness in my life. So I am thankful every day that I still had the opportunity to be creative through my favorite medium of photography and find that hope and healing again for myself. So my wish for everyone today is to just start by everything that you do today, look at it a little bit differently from a different perspective, and just wonder how you could do a few things a little bit differently the next day and see how you feel. I'm also going to post this list of everyday creative ideas that you can do if you're feeling lost and not really sure where to start. So I will post that in the comments here later on today for you. And if you think you have anything that you might want to add for ideas to this list, just toss it in the comments there and I will add it to it, and then we can all print it off and access that later. So who knows how long we're going to be in this isolation stage, but one thing that we do know for sure is that we can tap into our creativity and create ways to still stay connected and inspire hope and love in each other. So missing all you people. Take care. Love you all. Bye.